Are you tired of corporate-controlled media? Then it's time to subscribe to a new way of gaining access to independent and timely news coverage. Introducing the Final Call Digital Edition. The Final Call Digital Edition is on the cutting edge of print news delivery. The Final Call Digital Edition carries in-depth reporting and thought-provoking analysis of both national and international news. Get out of the old and get into the new. Subscribe to Final Call Digital Edition at digital.finalcall.com.
New Final Call Radio, streaming messages and music from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call Radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button, or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio. The official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
Assalamu alaikum. I am your brother, Donell Muhammad. I am a student in the ministry class under the divine guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, the one God to whom all praise is due. We thank this one God for his many mercies and blessings. And the greatest of God's mercy is that he intervenes in the affairs of humanity when humanity has strayed from the right path. We thank Allah for Musa or Moses and the Torah. We thank this one God for Isa or Jesus and the gospel. We thank this one God for Muhammad and the revelation of the Holy Quran. However, I would be remiss in my duty as a black man in America if I did not thank the consistency of God, the constancy of God. And above all, please listen very carefully to what I'm about to say. God did not send us a prophet, a messenger, or an apostle. He gave the greatest demonstration of love ever displayed on the planet for a people. He left heaven and came himself in person, and that person was Master Fard Muhammad. That person is Master Fard Muhammad, the one referred to as the Great Mahdi, the one referred to by the Christians as the Christ, the one referred to as the Jews as Masih or the Messiah. He came among us, found one worthy among us in the first instance in the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and we thank the two of them for not leaving us comfortless, but giving us a leader, a teacher, a guide, their Messiah, our Jesus, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I greet all of my brothers, sisters, and guests to another edition of my walk with Jesus as a Muslim. I am honored this evening to bring to you a brother, a friend, a comrade in the struggle for the total liberation of our people, rooted in the principles of freedom, justice, and equality. He is a brother who has been blessed by God to develop in the science of a mathematics, not just a curacy glance of mathematics, but a man who has dedicated his life to the science of mathematics. Because why is mathematics so important? because mathematics is the only exact science. Mathematics is 2 plus 2 is 4 in China, Africa, Asia, the Caribbean. No matter where you go, math is what it is. And so I proudly present to you a man who has inspired, educated, trained many of our young people into scientists, brilliant scholars under his tutelage, my brother, your friend, student minister, Shahid Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
Wa
Minister.
alaikum salam.
Good to
Why
see you.
is mathematics so important, Brother Shahid? I'm a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. What does math have to do with God, religion, Bible, Quran? What is all this talk about mathematics in my life? What is that about?
Oh, my goodness. Number one, I would like to begin in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. Bear witness there is no God but Allah. Came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. I bear witness the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the exalted Christ, and the Honorable Minister Farrakhan is their divine reminder, warner, servant in our midst today. And if it were not for those two that Allah blessed us with, I would have no desire to help our people in mathematics. I would not understand the importance of mathematics in relation to everything. And I definitely wouldn't be on the mission that I am on to try to raise our people, number one, back to our former glory of being the originators and creators of mathematics. So to your question, brother, anyone in religion, if they're the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us any religion that's not rooted in mathematics and the science of life, then they are not fully grasping the true meaning of what religion is all supposed to be all about, which is to bring the individual back to God. So God is the supreme mathematician. So if you're saying I'm religious, but I don't see any connection to mathematics, then you have to ask yourself, do you believe in God? Because he is the supreme mathematician. We're taught by Minister Farrakhan, Allah, God, makes decisions based on mathematics, not emotion. So his will, his desires, his actions are based in mathematics, because as you stated earlier, it is the right and exact science. And everything in the universe is based in mathematics. Mathematics is in everywhere and in everything. And even the person that's asking the question, if they look in the mirror, if they love themselves, then they have to understand that they are walking mathematics themselves. From head to toe, the human body is a perfectly run mathematical machine. And we get health problems, disease, and doggone there maybe close to death when the mathematics in our body is off. That's when we have problems with our health, problems with our being, and our development of ourselves if the mathematics is off. So the Bible is coded mathematically. The Holy Quran is coded mathematically. So I don't know how anyone with any religious background can't see the mathematics in whatever religion they're practicing. I mean, there's certain times that you're supposed to pray. There's certain amounts of prayer. There's charity. All that is mathematics. And the creation that we study from God is all based in mathematics as well.
Wow. So explain to us this connectivity then. You're saying everything is mathematics. How so?
Oh, my goodness. Do you have enough time, Brother Steve? You can first start with self. So I started a show and I saw you put some of the clips out there. I'm on my second episode and I'm going through these first episodes, all the different places where mathematics is with the help of Allah to my ability. But it's so many places that I would not be able to cover them in the episodes. I would have to have an infinite number. But just looking at the human body, and on this clip that you're showing, I'm showing all the mathematics that's involved in the body, the length of the blood cells, the heartbeat, the blood pressure, that it has to be less than 120 in order to be normal. And if you're outside that normal range, you can either have high blood pressure or low blood pressure. We have a certain number of red blood cells. We have a certain number of nerve cells. Our nerve cells, when they're acting correctly, they travel at a certain speed. When they're not acting correctly and we get learning problems, that's when the speed is slower and slower and slower. So there's so many aspects of just self that are mathematics. That is mathematics, I'm sorry, from head to toe. You have 5 extremities on your hand, 5 extremities on your feet. All that is mathematics because 5 is a number of power. We have 5 senses, all right? You have rotation in your joints. You have angles that allow you to move and do certain things, allow you to put a guard up, allow you to punch. All these are mathematical concepts. Rotation is in trigonometry. Angles is in geometry. I mean, the list goes on. Then you have the universe. All out in space is mathematics. Every science, I say that mathematics is the mother of all sciences because every science you need mathematics for it to be actualized. Botany, biology, chemistry, physics. Without mathematics, they wouldn't exist. Sports, music, cooking, eating, agriculture, the clothes that we got on, somebody designed them using mathematics. I mean, I could go on and on. The technology that we appreciate. The computer speaks a coded language of binary. Zeros and ones. That's all the computer understands. That allows us to get the apps that we like. That allows us to code programs. It allows us to have the video games that our children like and some adults like. I mean, the list can go on and on.
Well, why do black people then have the tendency to say, I don't like math. I don't want to deal with math. Why do we sometimes shy away as black people when it comes to math if it's so important? I like basket weaving 101 myself. It seems to be an easier science to learn.
That's the thing. It's the American black people in particular that have been reduced to nothing, destroyed mentally, spiritually, physically. And so our desire to learn mathematics is wiped out in slavery because we weren't allowed to read nor do mathematics. And then when we finally got into the enemy schools, they did not teach mathematics in a way that made us, 1, want to desire it, 2, in a way to make us master it. As a matter of fact, American students, just period, whites, blacks, are at the bottom in terms of international mathematics achievement. So it's not just us, it's just that we are in the emergency room, but you have some other people that are in chronic states as well. But the discipline is not there. You have to be disciplined to learn mathematics because it's a constant practice. It's an outside of the classroom type of thing you have to do. Mastering mathematics is like mastering a musical instrument. If you don't practice it, if you don't stay on it, then you're going to lose everything that the teacher tried to give you. And then Satan, the wicked rulers, they don't want the masses to learn mathematics anyway. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that a people who do not know mathematics will always be subject to a people that know math. So they purposely, it is a conspiracy, a plan, a machination, wicked one, to keep the masses mathematically illiterate. But in particular, black people, because they know we are the people that are to be the future rulers. But you can't rule nothing without mathematical skills, without mathematical literacy and competency. So it is by design that the blacks in America in particular are taught in a manner that makes them illiterate in mathematics. And we have to take some, what's the word I'm looking for?
Responsibility.
Blame on ourselves because we lack that discipline. We want instant gratification. We don't want anything that we got to overcome difficulty. And mathematics is only difficult because we don't want to put the time in. We don't want to use the discipline that's required to master it. And then, Brother Donell, most students are not taught what I'm teaching, that mathematics is everywhere. They ask the question to their teachers, why do I need to learn math? The teacher say something stupid like, because you need to know how to count your money, because you need to pass the test. No, this modern child, that madness is not going to fit with them. You got to show them everything that they want, everything that they desire, any profession they want to go into. It requires mathematics. and then they'll have a greater appreciation for it, be more inspired and motivated to want to master it. And then they have to see themselves in the picture. Mr. Farrakhan teaches us in education. Most math textbooks, there's hardly no blacks in it. When you Google 100 great mathematicians, not one of them is black. So if I'm a black student and you show me 100 great mathematicians and not one of them look like me, then I'm gonna go to something where I see myself: rap, dance, football, basketball, you see, video games, where I see my people doing well in. And
Yes,
that's part
sir.
of the problem.
Well, how do we get our children, and even though some of us elders, to see, how do we get our people to begin to see the value of it? You answered some of it already, but can you just expound upon how do we get our people to begin to see this value if we're ever going to turn this thing around?
Well, we need total control of our own educational system. We need independent schools where we don't have that white supremacist mind poisoning the math curriculum with nothing but great white mathematicians and turning us all from the study because we don't see ourselves in the picture. We need our own black teachers teaching our children with a mindset of consciousness and a mindset that they understand themselves why they're teaching mathematics. Most math teachers, they don't even like math themselves, the ones that's in the elementary school, but they're forced to teach it. So now they transmit that negativity onto the child. And so if we don't have total control of the educational system of our people, then we're going to continue to have problems and be at the bottom in the area of mathematics, because this enemy is not trying to make our children mathematically literate. So we got to have total control. And then as parents, we got to take charge of our children's reality, of our children's educational system. Education is not just for the school. Education starts at home. So if the parents are not aware of the mathematics that's all over their home, all over their bodies, all over everything, then they're not going to give that to the children. And then they do things like saying, well, I wasn't never good at math, so you probably going to have problems too. Your grandpa wasn't good at math. They give the child a crutch to continue math illiteracy because they weren't good at math. No, you got to change that around. But if they're not aware, they don't have the knowledge, then that's where it starts. We have to give parents knowledge, and we got to control our own education.
Yes, sir. Brother Stephen, are there anyone in the chat that would like to ask Brother Student Minister Shahid a question?
All right. Yes, sir. We have a question. Where do our children fall as far as mathematics and science?
The majority at the bottom. And that, unfortunately, is the statistical reality of Black people, period, in America. Anything that's negative, we at the top at. Anything that's positive, we at the bottom at. So in mathematics, we're pretty much at the bottom.
So all these STEM programs don't mean nothing then, pretty much.
No, I mean, it's a good opportunity and it's a good try, but there's so much involved in getting our children where they're supposed to be. Now, don't get me wrong. You have some children with the right parenting, with the right environment, and with the right teachers that are blazing, but they rarely put them out there for us to see. Sometimes you'll see them on Facebook or something like that. Brilliant Black children, blazing the achievement test, blazing their curriculum, but they don't put them out there to show our children that that's a possibility. They're showing what? Basketball players, football players, rappers. Right. That's all our children see. Megan Thee Stallion dancing, putting your behind on the camera. That's what our girls have as role models. They rarely see anybody like me, a math doctor. They don't know me. They don't know any great Black mathematicians. Every time I travel, with the help of Allah, to another city to do a presentation, whether it's to parents, teachers, or children, I ask them, name me 5 Black rappers. All hands go up. Name me 5 Black entertainers. All hands go up. 5 Black sports stars. No problem. Then I say, name me 5 Black great mathematicians. And then all you hear is crickets. And then one child will say, you. I say, no, I'm not a great mathematician. I'm talking great that I can't tie their shoes. They can't name them. Because in their school system, they don't give them that type of reality because the teachers don't even know it themselves.
That is a fact. Yes, sir. Next question, Brother Stephen.
So just backing off of that last question. So what is the what's the problem? Is it that how it's taught? Because in your video, you showed the teacher being absolutely boring and not exciting about teaching mathematics, or is it like you said, we don't see ourselves in the picture? What can be done? What can you advise those teachers who are teaching mathematics to do a better job?
One, they have to educate themselves on Black history in relation to mathematics so that they can give the children that's in front of them, whether they're Black, Hispanic, then you have to pull their culture into that classroom and you have to show them Hispanics have great mathematicians, Blacks have great mathematicians. Then they have to want to teach mathematics and be inspired and motivated themselves. And then they have to teach mathematics in a way where the students see the relevance of it, the importance of learning it, and then make it plain and simple for them to learn and master, and not so complicated that they think only a few genius Einstein children are born with mathematics skills. And if that's not them, they'll never master mathematics. So there has to be motivation. There has to be a change of the curriculum to put the child's reality in it. What I try to do is marry the child's reality with the mathematics so they see themselves, what they want to be. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a scientist. I want to be an engineer. Even if they say they want to be a rapper, I say, well, you can't rap without mathematics. Even if they say they want to be a football player, you can't play football without mathematics. So whatever they want to be, I trap them. I even challenge them. I say, show me some place in the universe where there's no math and I'll give you $50. And of course they try. And then I shoot them down every time, because math is everywhere and in everything. So the teachers have to teach like that. They have to be motivated. They got to be fired up about the mathematics to get the children that way, because most of them have bad experiences about mathematics. They don't see no connection to it. So if the teacher does not change that reality and work with the parents to change that reality, then it's going to continue the cycle.
Yes, sir. I'll put a comment up by Brother Camille Ali. He said, one of the greatest attributes of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the NOI is math, science, and divine knowledge of Allah God taught from Master W. Farad Muhammad is still factually unchallenged. Yes. And we know when we look at a lot of the things that the scientists are so-called discovering, like the deportation of the moon. Now they're actually saying that the moon is a part of the earth and not some asteroid hit it. In the area of math, we see, the measurement of the earth, the weight of the earth, things like this are the scientists of this world are coming closer and closer to what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught. What can you say about that as far as mathematics, and mathematics being Islam and Islam being mathematics?
Man, so the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I was just reading, I don't know whether it was Fall of America, I think it was, but he was just talking about all I'm teaching is truth, and truth is mathematics. So when we say Islam is mathematics, then what is Islam? Islam is peace. Islam is righteousness. Islam is submission to the will of Allah. Anything in his creation submits to his will. That's all mathematics. So in order for Islam to be mathematics, that means mathematics is peace. Mathematics is righteousness, because mathematics is right and exact. It is truth. It is real. And as Brother Donell said, if you go to China, if you go to Africa, if you go to Europe, the mathematics is the same, because it's the purest of all sciences. So, and it's the way it gets you into the mind of Allah God in his creation. So he's created his creation with mathematics, and his creation submits to him and bow down to his will. So it's in harmony with Islam. It is Islam. So Islam and mathematics are one and the same, because they're right and exact. They bring about peace. They bring about submission. They bring about righteousness, because in mathematics, you're trying to be right. You got to be right and exact, or you won't get the solution.
So, let me ask you this question, Brother Shahid.
Yes, sir.
In terms of math and the communication of it, what about the role that word problems play in the communication of mathematics? We know that the symbol to, the symbol plus, the symbol to, the symbol equal and the symbol for? What about TWO, PLUS, TWO, EQUAL, for, FOUR? Word problems. Logic is like a mathematical code. When you're logical, reasonable, Islam is based on reason. What role does word problems play in mathematics?
Oh my goodness. It's got to be the essence of mathematics, because you use mathematics. It's a tool to solve problems. And if we're not able to translate those words from the word problem into what you are saying, into the mathematical concept, the mathematical meaning, then we'll never solve the problem. So Master Fard Muhammad comes and gives us a problem book, 34 problems, and they are word problems from God. Good Lord. So if we're having word problems from these so-called textbook writers, imagine the magnitude, the power, and difficulty level of the word problems from God. So if a child or a student, could be adult as well, if we have reading problems, if we don't know how to translate the vocabulary of the mathematics words into the mathematical meaning, then that's why we have problems with word problems. So you hear all the time, I like, man, I just can't stand word problem. I just can't get the word problem, because we don't have the methodology taught to us on how to approach the word problem. And we're not taught the concept development. A lot of teachers just teach, try to find the key word, the buzzwords that mean add, subtract, multiply. No, we have to give them the conceptuality of what division means, multiplication means. What does it mean to translate it into an equation? All that is key. And those are reading comprehension, vocabulary, skills that you have to have in order to master word problems.
Thank you, sir.
So word problems are very, very important.
Yes, sir. If a train left New York going to California at 9 o'clock and then had subtracted over to Chicago, how long would it take to get to California, San Francisco, LA?
Yeah, that's the type of problems they don't like, Brother Donell. They're like, why?
Say, why? I just want to go. I don't care how I get there, how long. Just let me get on the plane.
Just teleport me.
Brother Stephen, anybody else in the chat?
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask the question with the actual facts. What is the importance of the actual facts that we're given in the supreme wisdom? Why do we have to know those actual facts?
Lord, well, one, because they're actual. Actual means that the time doesn't change them. They're true now, like they were true when he came in 1930 to give those to us when he started out making himself known to us. The actual facts. Also, we have to run our lives off of actual facts, and that helps in every aspect of life. For our health, if we don't know the actual facts of our health, we walking around, could be disease, could be having cancer and don't even know it. And many people, because we don't go to the doctor, we're not aware of our body statistics, then we're walking around disease, sick, and then it gets too late and it's hard to try to repair now because we let time go. But if we could have caught it when we saw the actual facts, then we could have changed that course. We need actual facts when we go to find a mate, when we go to find a wife or a husband. If you don't get the actual facts on that queen or a king that you desire, then emotion makes your decision and not actual facts. And then
she's cute though.
Oh yeah, that's not actual facts. What's going on in her mind? She might be cute. That might be an actual fact, but what's going on in her mind? When you buy a house, you buy a car, see all these things, you need actual facts. So Master Fard Muhammad is trying to get our mind focused on thinking mathematically, logically, with reasoning, as Brother Donell said, and not emotion. 85% of the planet are operating off of emotion. Well, if it feel good, I'm gonna do it. But they're not operating off of actual facts.
That is a fact.
That's why we have problems with relationships, problems with our health, problems with our finances, problems with our children, just problems on top of problems. Because we're feeling and not thinking.
That's right. That is a fact. Yes, sir. Anyone else in the chat, Brother Stephen?
No questions as of yet.
See, I tell you what, brother Shahid, you're already getting what you're getting in other places. See, even the believers are scared to come on when they heard the math doctor was in town, because some of us don't want to be showing up that we don't know math.
Yeah,
Right.
I was on another program. They were trying to show me up.
Is that right?
Yeah, they were dropping these bomb questions from the mothership.
Well, brother,
Crazy
I won't
fellow.
throw no balls like that, but because I'm sure you can handle whatever we throw.
I don't know.
We sure enough don't have the knowledge or the experience that you have, and your and the proof of your effect on not only the children of MUI, but wherever you've been, where Allah has blessed you to go. I can tell you, without even being there, those children, teachers, educators, everybody benefited, as we are benefiting right now from Allah's blessing of you. You may not be, you say, the greatest, and that's your humility. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't have to see the 100 blacks, the mathematical geniuses. I'm looking at the one I think is the greatest, whether he thinks he's the greatest or not. That's my position. And I'm not backing up off of it.
He must have another image up, because I'm looking at myself and I know that's not me. But I can't tie the shoes of our late brother Abdul Alim Shabazz.
Okay.
Great walking mathematician. I mean, I can't tie his shoes. And then our beloved mother, Tanetta Muhammad. A lot of what I learned about the mathematical theology, the power of Islam and mathematics, came from her workshops that she would have with the teachers. And then her articles. So both of them, I'm nowhere near in the same ballpark with those two in terms of mathematics.
All praises due to Allah.
And let alone the mathematics that Minister Farrakhan and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad bring.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let me ask you, you know, a lot of people are into numerology. What's the science behind that?
Well, we're taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that numbers have meanings. And through Mother Tanetta and the teachers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Minister Farrakhan, elucidating those teachings, we get meanings of some of the numbers, like the number 0. If you go into the theology of time, there's a section called "From 0 Comes 1." And he breaks down the science of the 0, representing the womb of triple darkness that Allah created himself out of. And then that womb brought forth 1, and that 1 is Allah. And if you look at the attributes of the number 1, they all point to the supreme being. 1 is a number that is only factor is itself. 1 is not prime nor composite. Every number has 1 as its factor, because Allah is the creator of everything. So then he goes into the number of the beast and the science of 6. So we get the meaning of the number 6. We get the meaning of the number 2, being the black woman, second in creation, also the messenger of Allah, styled like a woman. The number 3 being trial, tribulation, freedom, justice, and equality we're fighting for, overcoming difficulty, right? And then you get into 4, balance, foundation. And then when you look at these numbers and you put them up against dates, you put them up against Quranic surahs, Bible verses or Bible chapters or whatever, you start seeing that the mathematics is speaking, the numbers are talking, and what we're taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad they mean is a reality. 19 being the signature of Allah. I mean, so we don't have all the numbers, but the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us a foundation that you can take one number and then put it with another and then science that up as well. So the numerology that I know is just the meaning of the numbers given to us by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Some people can get spooky with it, just like they do with astrology versus astronomy. But I try to stick with what was given to us by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan.
Can you science up for us or give us a clear understanding of that number 19? We say that there's, yes, sir.
Yes, Mother Tanetta explained how the Holy Quran is coded on the number 19. And remember, there was a brother, Rashid Khalifa, that discovered the 19 code of the Holy Quran. And then Mother Tanetta got that information, elucidated on it, and then begin to show us how, like, is there an event, major earthquake or major hurricane or something, and you look at the dates, they might come out to a 19. If it's a date or a Quranic surah like 75, which is the resurrection, you put a 19 in front of it, you get 1975. And that's when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad left, nation falls, we need a resurrection. So it starts giving you a science of events, Quranic references, Bible references, and they all kind of relate to the teachings, history, and prophecy, as well as the reality of Allah, because it represents the signature of Allah. Then you have 19, you have a 1 and a 9. 1 is Allah, and 9, you have 9 systems in the body, 9 months to give birth to a baby. And when that Allah is with that mother, then you can produce a guide. So, I mean, just the list goes on. And then
beautiful.
And then the study guide 19 goes into that as well, the kingdom or the reality of God, or Lord have mercy, what's wrong with me? 19 is what? The
who is God?
Who is God, right? So he goes into some of that as well, and who is God. So
also too, brother, while we're on this, and you answered some of the aspects of it, in the Supreme Wisdom under problem number 13, after learning mathematics, which is Islam, and Islam is mathematics, it stands true. You can always prove it in no limit of time. Then you must learn to use it and secure some benefit while you are living. That is luxury, money, good homes, friendships in all walks of life. You talked about this when you talked about the children and how they got to go out when you buy a house, all these things. So how does this particular lesson, quote, play into that you explained earlier?
Oh man, wonderful explanation. Because one, it says it can be proven in no limit of time. So Islam, as taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, is right and exact mathematically foundation of the teachings are math and astronomy. And with those two, you can prove the teachings in no limit of time. That's one reason why Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam, because Islam, being that it is the creation of Allah that submits to his will, it can be proven in no limit of time that is the true and only, if you want to use religion, way of life or religion that Allah, God, would ordain because of the attributes of Islam, because of the meaning of Islam. Then it says, once you learn the mathematics, you must learn to use it. As I said before, the essence of mathematics is problem solving. So you have to use that mathematical theology to produce something. And the Honorable Minister Farrakhan always uses the wonderful example of multiplying. A multiplier and a multiplicand coming together to produce a product. So if we are not producing, if we're not manufacturing, if we're not inventing things, then we're not going to get that luxury, money, good homes, and friendship and all walks of life, because we're not doing anything with our mathematics. Mathematics is not just to pass a test. It's not just to keep in your head and impress people with what you think you know. It's to be put to practice. It's to be used. And how do we use it? We make things, manufacture things, produce things, take Allah's creation, the multiplier and the multiplicand, put them together in our mind and produce something that will make money, that will build a nation, that will be a product that we can sell and be productive with.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. We have a question in the chat for you.
Yes, we have one from Sister Vicky. Bringing her on.
Wa alaikum salam, Sister Vicky.
Yes, I have a question, sir. I always, ask Allah, to protect me 23, 56, 46, because I know it's not exactly 24 hours. But I've always wondered, how does that relate to pi 3.14? Because that will make it 24 hours. So how does that correlate together?
Lord have mercy. You're saying, how does the time not exact 24 hours relate to
23, 56, 46, but then pi 3.14 would make it 24 hours. So I've always wondered through the years, how does that correlate together, or does it correlate together?
Only correlation I could see, pi is definitely critical to finding the circumference of the planet Earth. And we know the circumference of the planet Earth, we approximate it at 25,000. but it's actually 24,896. And so that rotation of that circumference might relate to what you're talking about in terms of the time period, because pi is needed to calculate the diameter, to calculate the circumference of the planet Earth in a circle. So I can see some correlation there. Pi is a very powerful, interesting number. I always tell my students that it is the VIP of irrational numbers because it's so special. It's got its own day. But I could see a relation there, sister. I'm not a scientist, so I couldn't, I don't want to try to act like I know the relation and I don't. So I'll deter that to a scientist. that
Yes,
can,
sir.
But that's the only thing I can see immediately since you asked that question.
It's just because I always, look at it, because if you add it together, the 23, 56, 46 and the 3.14, that will make it 24 even. So that's what I'm seeing. So how that correlates there.
All right. So you a scientist yourself and didn't realize it. Praise be to Allah. But see, those are the things that start happening when you get into the teachings and the mathematics and the science. It sparks atoms that we can crack, and then we get so much pleasure out of that because we're getting at the high level of thinking, which is the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Supreme Wisdom.
This Sister Vicky is also a CPA, brother Shahid.
Oh, come on. So she's always getting her math on.
Alhamdulillah, yes, sir. Mine is always training.
Yeah, praise be to Allah. Thank you for
sir.
the question, sister. That's something to
coming
ponder
up. You're welcome.
about. Yes, ma'am.
So we have a comment in here. It says, just think the math that we have is just one out of 59,999 books.
Yeah.
Can you go into that 59,999 books?
Yeah, we're taught in the Supreme Wisdom that that we had 60,000 books that treated exclusively of math, engineering, and some sciences. But we only gave one book when Moses was sent to civilize the Caucasian. We only gave him one book of mathematics, or he gave them one book of mathematics. And look what they were able to do with that one book of mathematics. But so that means there's another 59,999 books of mathematics that they know nothing about. And that's why they can't explain the building of the pyramids. They can't explain a lot of things that we just did naturally because they don't have that high mathematics that we had. We only gave them one. But the problem is now we as a people are at the bottom of the one. So you can tell how much we have been destroyed, where we went from having other books of mathematics, thousands of them, that the enemy knew nothing about. And now the enemy reduces us to where we're not even mastering the one. So
yes, sir.
We need resurrection on the highest level.
Does it also tie into the 59,999 that Yaqub took and went to the island of Pilan and people being a book and all of those things?
It sounds good to me, my brother. You're a student. I like your perspective. Yes, sir. That's how the Supreme Wisdom is. You start putting ties in.
So we have another comment here.
Hey, mi hermana, ¿cómo estás?
Yes. 1 is the male and 9 is the female with the perfect circles. Sister Beverly Muhammad gave or said on I Have a Testimony on the national network view.
10 is the male and 9 is the female. Okay, and put it together, you get 19. I can see that. And you produce a Mary and a Jesus when you have Allah, the one, with the 9 months in the mind of the mother coming together and producing that guy. I can see that.
Yes,
Come on now. All these scientists are manifesting themselves.
Right.
Cracking atoms.
Yes, sir.
So we don't have any questions as of right now for the doctor.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
well, I got one for him.
Uh-oh.
When is the calculation of the end of this world coming into existence? I needed to come in the next 6 months or so because I want to hurry up and get to the hereafter. So can you give me the mathematical calculation
Yes.
how I can get from today to the hereafter? Can you help me?
After deep study and meditation, I believe it's going to happen February 26th, 2023. No, I'm just playing. Now, Brother Jabril would be the one to ask for that.
Yeah, he would come up with a number, huh?
Yes, Brother
Oh,
Jabril would
man.
put the
Yes,
science
sir.
together, the scriptures.
Oh,
So
man.
I wanted to ask you, as a parent, what are some of the steps that we can start taking to teach our children to fall in love with mathematics?
Well, one thing, when I do a few parent workshops that I've done, I tell the parents, do you know that your home is walking mathematics all over it? So when you're cooking, if you cook, you can have your children right there next to you and look at the recipe, look at the fractions that's involved, the mixed numbers that's involved in cooking. If you take them around the house, you can show them the geometry of the house. We want to put carpet down. We want to put tile down. Have your children right there with you so that they can get involved with the mathematics that's going on in the home. We have a load to wash, right? What's the capacity of our washer? What's the capacity of the dryer? How long do we leave the dryer on to get the clothes dried? All that's mathematics. You talk about any projects that you have, painting projects, wallpaper, whatever, they can get involved in that and see mathematics coming to life. So the more that you can show them the mathematics, you driving the children somewhere. Do you know how long it is to get from one place to the other? What do we measure this distance in? We measure it in miles. Are you familiar that there's also kilometers? In other countries, they measure it in a different measurement. So if the parent has these different tools, then they can get their children exposed to the reality of mathematics and everything as they're navigating their day, picking them up from school, what mathematics is going on, taking them into the house, cooking them dinner, all these things, setting them in the bed. All right. Your pillow, you like your pillow at a certain angle. What does that do to your body? What does that do to your spine? All that's mathematics. So just make your home a mathematical laboratory where your children are engrossed in mathematics 24/7. Also utilize the internet. You have Khan Academy, you have iExcel. There's 1,000 of math websites that you can have your children doing extra practice outside of what they're getting in class. Your teacher is not the primary teacher or educator. They are there to help you. But we as parents, we have to create an environment in our homes that is mathematically productive, scientifically, every academic subject that they're taking, there's something in our homes, something that we can do as parents to give them extra practice, extra exposure so that they can see that learning continues. It's not something where mom dumps me off at the school, picks me up, and then learning stops. No, pop and mom have to be teachers themselves and work intricately with the teachers at the school.
Yes, sir.
Now, you have some courses. What are some of the courses that you have that that those who are watching can purchase to begin to teach their children?
I have, online, I have a website, themathdr.org, that you have up already. At that website, there are direct downloads now. I don't do the DVDs anymore. You can get direct downloads of, I think about at least 13 different math courses. Animated preschool for the babies, K through third, basic math. Well, the animated preschool really is from the womb, coming out of the womb to about 4 years old. Give them that exposure. It's got music, it's got animation. Then you have K through third, basic math. I have a general math for like 4th through 8th grade. I have 2 standardized test preps, a word problems DVD, why we must master math. That goes into a lot, Brother Donell and Brother Stephen, of what we're talking about tonight, how math applies everywhere. I have a little PowerPoint presentation in there. There are books available, but then I also have some online courses. All they have to do is contact me at my website, not my website, I'm sorry, contact me through my email. You can go to the website, I'm sorry, and just register for the online course. Let me know which one you're interested in, and then I'll get back to you, let you know whether I have that, and then how it works. Because I do have students from all over the country coming into some of my online classes. That's available. And I do have 2 self-paced courses that parents can use if they homeschool their children or they just want extra practice for their children. They're modules that they click and do. They watch videos from me, and then there's lessons that they can do on their own. So there's the live remote classes, and then there's 2 self-paced classes that the parents can use or teachers can use homeschool or extra after school.
All praises due to Allah. Beautiful, beautiful.
Praise be to Allah. We're striving.
As we talk about math and its significance and how detached we have become, not necessarily by choice, but by an enemy's interference. So in rebuilding this, we know what the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has done for us as it relates to every aspect of human life, all of our problems in life. How do we communicate better what you are talking about right now in terms of tying all these things together: religion, math, science, music, sports, as you said? Many of these things you've touched on, but in somewhat of a conclusion or a summary. How do we tie all of these things together for us to truly see and appreciate how math is connected to everything? And what Islam is taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has caused us to see and understand.
You have the educational system where the curriculum must be what they call interdisciplinary. So every teacher in that school, and it has to be our schools, we have to control the education of our children, but every teacher in that school has to see mathematics in their subject if they're not teaching mathematics. And that way they're infusing in the children, hey, mathematics is involved in writing, it's involved in history, it's involved in science. And then science involved in mathematics, science is involved in history, because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us we are all the subjects. We are chemistry, we are geography, we are biology. So you have to have teachers with that mindset of what the minister teaches us in terms of education. Then you have to couple that with a parent, a household that's bringing the teachings on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad into the household, and that is exposing the teachings to the children and to themselves, because we have to grow in order to teach the children. Then you have to have the mosque structure where the teaching is going on, where that student minister is also showing the importance of mathematics, and that the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is based in math. We don't want Islam as math to just be a slogan that we put on a t-shirt and we say it one time, and then people say why, and you don't back it up with anything. It just sounds good. So in that ministry also is another avenue where we can bring the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in and show that science and mathematics are the buttress of the teachings. That's why we can prove it in no limit of time. Another thing that has to happen, and I thank Allah for my wife because she has her own school. You got to get the babies, teach them early, and get them with a strong foundation of math, and then they will just skyrocket as they get into those higher grades. So my wife is transforming 2, 3, 4-year-olds, even some 5-year-olds, into mathematical geniuses, into academic giants. The name of her school is MMSEA, Muhammad's Math, Science, and Engineering Academy. If you're interested, you got babies and you want them transformed into walking gods, into academic giants, then just go to her email is mocha, MOCHA _mom at msn.com. Or you can just email me. My email is up there. Is it? Or the website is up there. You can just email me, Facebook me, or whatever. But she's all on Facebook showing posts of what she's doing with the children. You got to start them early, preschool, coming out of the mother's womb, and get them engrossed in mathematics in the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, where their minds are blank pages. Go ahead and write the teachings on them, write the power of mathematics on them, and then they will just flourish. But we got to start early. I hope that helped answer.
Oh, brother, you most certainly, man. That was a good tie-in, and that's the key. Because sometimes when we hear questions and answers, we focus on that one thing, but in reality, the teaching is in, as you said earlier, it's math is in everything.
Yeah.
But to say it, but for the person to see, in fact, that what you are saying, that it is in everything, as we talk about what you just did now, is proof that it's tied. There's nothing you can say or do. Your speech pattern is mathematical.
Your rhythm.
Everything, as you said. And so beautifully explained on this program. And we are thankful for that, dear brother. We must have you back again and again as we approach the top of the hour. Brother Stephen, are there any other questions that the audience have or you have in these closing moments? Yes, sir.
We do have one more question. It's a good one. And I'll put it up here on the screen. No, that's not it. Hold on. Here it goes. Brother Timothy, he asks, how do the circumference of the planet Earth relate to Black people and the events taking place in this period of time?
Well, I'll just give it to you that it says in the Supreme Wisdom, who made Holy Quran or Bible? How long ago? Will you tell us why does Islam renew our history every 25,000 years? The Holy Quran or Bible is made by the original people, who is Allah, the supreme being or Black man of Asia. The Quran will expire in the year 9,080 years from the date of this writing. The nation of Islam is all wise and does everything right and exact. The planet Earth, which is the home of Islam, is approximately 25,000 miles in circumference. So the wise man of the East, Black man, makes history or Quran to equal his home circumference, a year to every mile. And thus, every time his history lasts for 25,000 years, he renews it for another 25,000 years. I can say that because that's the Supreme Wisdom.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I hope that helps my brother in his question.
Well, I'm sure it did.
But that 25,000 is very important because remember, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us and Minister Farrakhan, prior to the deportation of the moon, circumference of the earth was 35,000. So when the brother got upset and deported the moon through his explosion, that reduced the circumference to 25,000. And that has a lot to do with the first sign of our rebellion and setting in motion us being transformed into the perfect rulers and perfect beings with the birth of Master Farrakhan Muhammad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. Brother Stephen, brother Shahid, yes, then here's what I want to say to you, Brother Shahid.
Yes, sir.
What is your advice to us in your closing comments? And again, thanking you for accepting the invitation to be with us. What are your closing comments, statements to all of us as to what we need to begin to do starting with tonight?
I would say, and I want to thank you so much, Brother Donell and Brother Stephen, for the invitation. It's an honor. And I thank you all for this mighty program and all the believers that are putting out programs, because you're counteracting the madness that's on social media, and it's a lot of madness. So when we have these programs that are putting out powerful truths in the teachings, it is priceless. And we thank Allah for you. Thank Allah for Brother Stephen and all those that helped put this program on. I would just say, let us as adults first strive to understand the power of mathematics. If we say we are followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and mathematics is at the root of the teachings and astronomy, then these are things that we got to learn. So let's open ourselves up to become mathematically literate and competent first, then transform our children and try to get them the best that we can to be mathematically literate, strong, and powerful, because we want to overcome what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, that a people who don't know math will always be under and subject to a people that do. So we want to be those that do, and not just on average learn math and know math. We want to be at the point that we were in our original state, walk-in mathematicians and scientists, so that we can become walk-in gods again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
praises is due to Allah.
Praise be to Allah.
Brother Stephen, you can take it from here.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Shahid.
Thank you.
Thank you once again, Student Minister Donell, for about a powerful, powerful program. I'll go ahead and just wrap it up. And I want to just invite all of those who are watching to tune in every Sunday, same bat channel, same bat time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is an interactive program, so you are the interviewer. So any questions that you might have, you can post them in the chat, or you can come on live, and your questions are always important. With that, I want to leave you as we came before you, always saying to make your house a sanctuary and not a cemetery. Begin to look at storing non-perishable foods and water in your home. You can go to refugedepot.com and get a lot of supplies that you need for survival. With that, I'll leave you as I came before you. May God continue to bless you and your family with the light of truth and understanding. Assalamu alaikum.
Greetings, dear listeners. We have been blessed by Almighty God Allah over the 90 years of our work in the Nation of Islam and lifting our people up from the miserable condition in which we find ourselves. We ask your support of our effort, and we hope that you will be generous and make a contribution to the work of the Nation of Islam and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan by clicking the button below, or go to noi.org/donate. We thank you in advance for your support. May Allah God continue to bless you and your families. Assalamu alaikum.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call Digital Edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.